In the context of neurodiversity, a lot of people really struggle with the idea that an assessment may or may not be biased, or it's the assessor that is the problem here. Okay, this is particularly true with personality questionnaires. Okay, people ask me all the time, are personality questionnaires fair for people with neurodivergence? Now, the issue is that the assessments themselves are very fair, in and of themselves, as in the method of assessment is very fair. We don't have any real reason to believe that personality scales, Likert scale, that kind of response data would be inherently challenging for someone with neurodivergence, inherently. But personality questionnaires do measure a wide range of constructs, some of which people may score differently on based on their neurodivergence. Now, that isn't a flaw in the assessment in the way people think it would be. Okay, so imagine, for example, in the case of, say, autism. We know that people with autism, on average, may be slightly more likely to be introverted. We also know that they're more likely to show more extreme scores on extroversion, being very introverted or very extroverted. These are real findings. These are not measurement error. These are actual findings that matter and have real-world implications, and indeed could conceivably have implications for selection and assessment if a role requires someone to be very extroverted, for example. Now, the issue arises when people use that information ineffectively. Okay, it's very often an assessor-led problem. Now, often with personality questionnaires, people aren't entirely sure what to look for, what traits are important to the role. And if you choose traits which are not particularly important for the role, but people with neurodivergence score lower on, you create a system where bias is inherent. And that's a problem. That isn't a flaw in the assessment. Okay? That's a flaw with the reasoning for the assessor. So it's important to draw the distinction between the two. It is not a quality control issue with the assessment. It is very much an issue with how that assessment is used, and that is down to the assessor, not the assessment.